Alright guys, welcome to Biomutant. This is a brand new open world RPG that takes inspiration from games like Ratchet & Clank, Devil May Cry and Batman Arkham. And this project aims to be as unique as possible, really stand out from the rest of open worlds. I will be giving away one copy of the game on your platform of choice, so all you need to do is comment your Steam, Xbox or PS4 username below and of course like the video. Let's get into the gameplay. I won't be talking so you can enjoy the game in all its glory. Talk to you all very soon.
Encode your DNA. Define your genetic structure. Choose a genetic resilience. Choose your first style. Pick a class. Commando. Deadeye. Commando. Psy-Freak. Saboteur. Sentinel. Deadeye. Deadeye chosen. That'll work. Here's somebody with a troubled past, drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a crossroads. Choosing a path in life is that fork in the road where you make a choice or simply stop living. But for you, it's not only a crossroad, but a choice, a reflection of your key, the primal energy that flows through everything.
Let me introduce myself. I'm the light and bright side of you, or your inner voice to be precise, an echo of balance and consequence of your actions as you move forward.
Seems more like you're being light-headed if you ask me, but you'll come around, eventually.
But what comes around goes all the way back around. So, it's better to stick to your instincts. You can't fight what's in your nature.
In your nature, and here I was hoping we'd be all about natural selection, survival of the strongest and so forth. If that's not instinct, then I don't know what is.
Natural selection is all about evolution and progress, and as soon as there's enough light, darkness will disappear.
Right is always right. Stories of death and the bodies left behind, a reminder that we're at the mercy of nature and the one that preys on others. Do you remember the beast that shattered your family, or did you choose to forget? You turned your back on our world and got lost in your own. Meanwhile, the predator only grew stronger. for it. This is not the time nor place to end this story. This time, it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. The Predator isn't the only threat. The wildlife started to mutate when the end of days began, and the Tree of Life started to die. Oil sludges everywhere. To most, it only means death, but some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. That's sure to be useful. emergency box from the once was. A That pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed under distress. Blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. Sharp steel. How weird do you want to get? Seems strong enough. Toxanol built vessels called arcs to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of the single arc they left behind that we know other arcs traveled through the sky and beyond. It seems those that came before us never lost hope in finding a new home for their kind. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and, without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right, but no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. Once in the surf, the radiation interfered with the genetics of the wildlife and created bizarre mutations in their offspring. It had an inconceivable impact on biodiversity and the entire ecosystem. The world as they knew it crumbled as nature retaliated. It would never be the same again, and what remained of it became ours. The sound of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. Killed that one. That one in half. That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives. You should be able to use that. He wants to thank you for taking his side against the scavengers. He sounds familiar. You just can't figure out why. He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way overdue, but he hasn't given up. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You were just a child back then, the night everything changed. There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen outside the Great Wall, and he's happy to see it's true. The legend of the one-eyed child that grew up as an outcast is old and sad. The child could have been anyone, but the evil it had fled had left a mark, a facial scar to remember the past. It's a scar you're covering under that eye patch, isn't it? But he would have recognized you anyways. You look exactly like your Muma. There's no doubt you're the child, and that what Lupa Lupin did to your village, your Muma and Popsy, was the beginning of the end. He says it has taken you a long time to bring the past back up to the present, to find your way back, but he's grateful you have. It was after the attack that the unity fell apart. Your Muma's disciples divided and formed tribes as a The impending threat of the World Eaters bringing down the Tree of Life is ever so close. He also worries about the Jagni tribe that's actively working for a doomsday and purging of the world. Had it not been for the Tree of Life, no one would have survived. He hopes you at least remember the tree. Asks if you were tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if your Mooma knows you are here. Sounds like he thinks she does, despite your heart growing dark. There's nothing as powerful as a Mooma's love. He understands why you came all the way out here, to see them, the potato people. The potato people, or Nono, are a wonder, somehow interlinked with this little tree here fueling its source of life. Magic? He claims it's just the force of life, the existence of energy, powering and connecting all things living, like the Nono. The Nono prefer to hide in glitter grass. He says you should get over there and ruffle it. See if you can make one come out of hiding. You found one. You should be proud. They don't come up for everyone. The Nono's key energy is just what the Pensai needs to complete its cycle and grow into a tree of life. Only time will tell. At least his intention is to dedicate his life to it. He has the feeling the fate of the world depends on it. You'll need to support the tree for a long time to come. The only way it'll grow tall is with the burst of ki released from the Nono. You'll need a net to catch the Nono, and he wants you to use his, but asks you to be gentle. The Nono are sensitive beings, an embodiment of ki, the primal energy. You handle that net like you've never done anything else. He's grateful for all the help he can get. There's lots of Nono out there that need to be guided to the roots of the Pensai tree. Oh, it'll need a continuous flux of ki over the 12 months to come, so... One day, he hopes the tree will have grown tall enough to sustain the world.
Featherbed.
From this day on, he'll make nurturing the Pensai into a tree of life, a life goal. One day, the land won't be as peaceful. Not even your Muma will be able to protect us. He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Muma comes looking for you. You did good here today. No, she's got lots on her mind and needs rest after the raid last night on the Lupin camp with her disciples. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. It's part of a trail you can follow. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the Tree of Life, but now he's afraid it might be in vain. Records tell of the ruinous devastation that Toxanol Corp. His friend Gizmo is working on a Mechton and needs help defeating the Jumbo Puff at the end of the West Route. Wiz is still repairing his octopod to confront the Merc Puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the Northwest Route. Nocco has tamed the midget and is preparing to take on the Hoof Puff at the end of the East Route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the Goo Glide, a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast.
Moog bebok loatolo maua.
Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eaters. There's one at the end of each route. The road ahead won't be easy, but he's counting on your support. His friends aren't strong enough to end this on their... He wants you to understand that you'll all die if the tree isn't saved. His friends have prepared something specific for each World Eater, the Mechton. Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part. You're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. Must be the World Eater that chewed off Out-of-Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. The World Eaters have made their marks on our world over time. That's not the first nor the last village it'll leave in its wake. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. It's a bridge. Just get over it. He's heard the stories about the terror inflicted by the World Eaters to other enclaves, but never He worries there won't be much left to save if this continues, even if the Tree of Life survives the attack. Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be judged, not by your intentions. He's grateful for that. You still seem to have a spark of light in you.
Ah! That's a spark of light in you!
What's there to like about light? It hurts to look at.
Not as much as it hurts to look at you. And you're always trying to pretend it's not.
There's Out-of-Date again. He must have missed something important. Out-of-Date says you will make a better stand against the World Eaters with the support of a tribe, and there are two nearby. The Myriad tribe is likely to be a good match as they act on the understanding of the greater good and have a code of honor. The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose from the depths of the surf. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. The Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction, to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to restore the world, and want to let the World Eaters bring down the Tree of Life. But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way.
Come, Reaper.
Out-of-Date says someone needs to break the stalemate and shift. He believes the tribe Sifus, Myriad especially, will listen to you and expects you to pay at least one of them a visit and play your part. He can sense you share Myriad's view on the world. The Myriad would embrace someone willing to fight against the tyranny of the Jagni.
Aya mu aya, mao maoya.
Out of Date will be waiting for you beneath the Tree of Life if you lose track of what you need to do.
Ya lawa wat nawa.
Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe war and the situation with the World Eaters. Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's unusual that natural tunnels like this still exist. Most of them got flooded. Fast like a snake. Chop, chop. This area was beautiful before the tribe war began. Look at it now. It's a war zone. That's the Myriad Tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. Let's see. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Thinks you should just put one paw ahead of the other and make your way up there. The tribe is always open to a new face.
Sibi? La panen agin kalman. Geradna falo hutut mus. Tugai la wute.
The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad Fort and introduces himself as the tribe's sifu. The wall that separates them from the other side? The wasteland you came from? He guesses the time spent there just left a blank space in your memory, as empty and barren as the wasteland itself. He's convinced you've returned for a reason, and is glad you chose to come here. There's something about your spirit that sparks memories of you as a kidling. He can still sense you're kind-hearted. There were 6 of them, but the unity fell apart after Lupa Lupin attacked the old village. Soon after, they formed new tribes based on their own values, and when the Blight started, the animosity escalated to war. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the greater good and establishing a code of honor. If you believe there's some good in everyone, there's still hope for tomorrow. You'll unite the tribes and defeat the World Eaters to save the Tree of Life. He was hoping you'd join them. You understand that there's no harm in doing good to others. The sifu was waiting for something to tip the balance in their favor, and with you by their side, he's confident you can unite the other tribes. The Jagni tribe may believe that fear and hatred will lead them to domination. A vanquisition of the tribes and destruction of the Tree of Life won't be the restart they want. It's just an end to everything. He wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen. You both have gentle minds, so they want to wage a gentle war. A war that bonds as much as it breaks. Once you've dealt with the rivals' outposts, you'll challenge their sifu to unite their tribe with yours, and they pass. Seeing you brings back his memories of the old village. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the greater good and establishing a code of honor.
Geled not. Ola, sekada poto.
He remembers your kind and unselfish soul, and can sense you still have it in you, the will to do good.
Bro plats.
Anyway,
Dit vore woese hat. Erim denken aufwesse, Anne?
even though it's now a different place from a different time, it is a place that'll make you remember. Fading, ready to dive back in. Tough as iron. Time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. Let's see. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past, like whispers in the wind. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He asks how you are today. Goop says he always does better whenever he leaves failure behind. He's happy his good mood is infectious. He wonders where you've been. He hopes you've been out at the lake, practicing your swimming technique. Learning to swim can be scary when you don't know what you're doing. But fortunately, he's here to give you a helping hand. He thinks you should really know how to swim by now. And he... He says, that wasn't too bad, was it? Way to go. Don't let the sound of the waves drown out your spirit. You need to rely on those who somehow know how to teach. Those willing to bend down and help you pick up your boots. You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn how to swim. He knows that's not true. You've just made up your mind you're not. Judging by your Mooma's look, it seems you forgot something. You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. It's time to go. The dedication to training is important. You can't rely solely on the fact that Wang Fu is in your blood. You should know, practice makes perfect. You have to keep working on it if you want to be good at it. She'll see you at the village square. She'll be waiting for you. Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. His only interest when creating is that what he comes up with is actually useful. He was hoping you could help him. He thinks you're truly a kidling of your environment. You should look for things that are recyclable. It shouldn't take you too long to find some. He wonders what usefulness you found. He says he can work wonders with almost anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. That's the spirit. You can't make a difference unless you get your hands dirty. You did well, but he can't help but wonder why you decided to craft a weapon. He understands, but hopes you won't be needing it anytime soon. You're not in this world to live up to his expectations, but he hopes you're never going to have to use that weapon of yours. He's looking. It looks like she's starting to lose her patience. You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you on the village square right away. Then you've got a good excuse. You share a responsibility to prevent hardship on nature and the environment. She wants you to grow up and start thinking for yourself. You really need to find yourself before she's gone. That's all she's ever asked of you, that you'll try and give it your best. You've always followed your own path, but this time she needs you to follow her. Then start by meeting her on the village square and take it from there. She knows you're a free spirit, always on the move, like the wind. They look determined. Better watch out. He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you think you're going. He's not scared of anything, least of all you. There's no way they'll let you pass. He wants to know who you think you are. He says you're right. Nobody can tell him what he can and can't do, and that includes you. She asks if you're hurt. What happened? She says the most important thing is that you're okay. She suggests that you forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them more. Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best. Seeing you always puts a smile on your Popsy's face. He wants to know how you're feeling. He heard you helped Gizmo clean up. He's proud of you. He asks if you could help him too before you leave for training. He wishes that was true for your Mooma too, but he suggests you get going and find him gadgets and ideas for how you can upcycle some old fabrics.
Saren mianda kakunu.
He's curious to see what you've found.
Eshkelmaku. Sarevanyad zap.
He's all for renewal and has even considered making the trip out into the wilds to look for a bionucleus pool and refresh his DNA.
Sem munteo mastula.
He can work wonders with pretty much anything and asks if you know how to upcycle.
Pianda. Ikaya marafka. Tid.
Says at least dirty hands are proof that you tried, and that counts.
Amanka.
He's...
Untlump. Pianda.
The style might be too edgy for his taste, but it looks sharp on you.
Vidsit Nyavov.
He knows she's already proud of you and everything you've achieved so far.
Tarinman.
You should take it with you, wear it to practice.
Vidsit Nyavov. Manshela fat.
He-
Jira Vabasco.
He's looking forward to seeing what you'll make next. It seems you have a talent for this.
Chialdo male canaro tono.
Your Muma says it's about time you got here.
Asil natu.
Hopes you're as ready as you claim to be.
Orasa durut. Chialdo male canaro tono.
She says she is eager to get started.
Ignavaldo. Inadabsunka.
But there's enough time left for repetition and you need it. Training dummies don't hit back.
Canamunt.
Wants you to prove that with some practice first.
Tropalo.
Your Muma says you did well today. She's so proud of you.
Ferena masalapo.
Thanks you for being such a good student.
Kalino. Canamunt.
Been work...
Ferena masalapo. Minalagi mamuru.
You should go see him and find out what it is. You've deserved it.
Can't see.
Says he's always thought so well of you. Just like her. Catchy.
Kalino.
Your Muma says she's never seen an apparatus as green.
Canamunta.
She's happy you appreciate what others do for you.
Camonu. Tropalo.
A piece of Scraptronics like this has built-in old-world tech that makes it a potent communication device.
Kala.
It's called an Automaton, and it's hardwired to your DNA. It'll follow wherever you go and see whatever...
Camonu.
You're lucky to have such a fine helper with you.
Antoro.
Your Muma says you look tired. No wonder. It's been a long...
Brumblene marsamambundu.
Says a good rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa from setting the world on fire. Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it.
Inagabsunka?
Your Muma says this is it. The time has come. She must...
Tatenko baba saktin. Narolute. Amdo? Tatenko baba saktin. Urasabut.
Whatever happens, you need to know she loves you. And everything she's done has been to protect you, your Popsy, and those she was chosen to lead.
Narolute. Tatetobruta.
She had a life before you were born, you know. Darker and less fun. Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity, when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on. The tribe's caught a fluffy hulk. Better watch out, it's no pet. They couldn't keep it down. Fluff hulk's on the loose. Half-lifed. Feeling so much better. Shot through. They couldn't keep it down. Fluff hulk's on the loose. Might want to fall back. Cutting edge.
Woutwan platsie, yeah, mes fasolala.
You gave them no choice but to take it down, even though they'd planned to take the Fluff Hulk out to the Farfnaki leaves and let it go.
Papaika tulu dremutulia.
They've received news a Ronin had strengthened their ranks and were looking forward to meeting you.
Toshote, temeso.
A group of myriad crusaders already headed out to Jagni's Mercadorpus outpost and are waiting for you there.
Dula sumala me, dula su.
You should hurry there and help.
Dula sumala me, dula su.
Not really. It's west of Bricktown. Look, an emergency box. Wow. Bet that nut makes a tight fist. Tunnels like this still carry echoes from the past. Can you hear it? What a blow! Face-fisted. That notice board? Filled with the leftovers of used-to-be wants. You're getting close to one of those old toxanol brick towns. Pay attention. Well, small ones. Places like this were cheap back in those days, and there was plenty of space. Get done with one place, you just build another. There must be a track somewhere in this brick town. This is an epic already. How it ends is up to you. Let's see. Ready to make something? The board mainly has posts from those that used to work at the chug yard back in the days gone. They don't make much sense these days. Not much. The Toxanol Corporation used to run chugger-chuggers out of here. Big machines on rails with smokestacks that fouled the air. They can carry... You're on the right track. Keep your eyes open. Always scavenging for scrap, and the yard has plenty to go around. But they should have stuck to looting instead of playing around with sprockets. Bomber Bonkers busy ram-banging the door. This is your chance. Middle-lifed. The light you see at night is brighter than you think. Let's see. That's more like it. You can mutate even more now. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. Wow, you really took that all the way down to the end, in flames. It's a wonder some of these up and downs still work. Guess they built machines better in the past. I need to brush up on my Wando, but I have a feeling he believes it was you that caused the bang at the yard. Oh, and he says he knows you. You used to call him Gizmo. He gave you the oil-greased hands when he taught you how to up... Gizmo remembers you as a nice kidling, and he can still sense the warmth of your good heart. But Gizmo says how you experience a memory can be different. You know the story, but sometimes the truth it brings is personal. He hopes you remember that one time he taught you to upcycle, and hopes you've had some use for it over the years. He understands history made Lupa Lupin a big part of your past, your present, and soon, your future. You still believe there's some good in everyone. You still have hope for tomorrow. He says you should know that what's meant to be will always find a way, but Gizmo encourages that. You should forgive, but never forget. It'll provide some comfort to your soul and keep the memory of lost loved ones in your heart.
Fan that flame!
Wait, no! Bright light blinds! It's dangerous!
I've got all the cold, sick burns you need, Dark.
Oh, do you have to insult me over this?
I don't have to, but I want to.
Would like to know if you ever doubt the choices you made on the path that brought you to this point. Supposes that's all any of us can do. Hard to believe the world is actually going to survive. Just seemed impossible till now. Grateful to you for coming back and doing your best to change things. You were the only chance they had. Wonders if you liked working with the Myriad. They always seem so centered. Figures everyone does. They seem unusually dedicated to finding them. But that's not important now. Gizmo says it's taken a long time to bring the past up to the present, and where you go from here is up to you. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the Underyard as he has no protection against the vacuum in the dead zone, so you need to salvage scrap to upcycle the Mechton, starting with the old crate outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the Mechton strong enough to fight the Jumbo Puff. There are some gorgeous colors returning to the world. There's short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who... That's the leftover you're looking for. Be on the watch for a way out. A balancing act. Ooh, a biohazard like that can make you real sick. He says that's enough to get the Mechton functional. Unfortunately, this means you'll have to He noticed the Jumbo Puff has a short attention span, so the script should distract it long enough for you to inflict some damage. A mobile fortress. The Grease Monkey's Mechton is built sturdy, just like himself. Can you imagine how this place used to look before the dead oil flood? The day is getting on. Might want to hold your breath before you head any further. You're about to witness the breathtaking vistas of what's known as the Dead Zone. In the old world, roads like this really led somewhere. Now, most of them lead to disaster. That over there is Steepo Depot, the cliffside that Moog hangs on to. Good thing you're strong. This one's impressed to see you up. Claims he goes... Moog says that all your power doesn't do you a bit of good if you're not willing to pull the trigger when the time comes. Choosing what to kill and what to spare are the most important decisions you'll make. You might have a steady aim, but you need to be sure that you pick your targets with care. It claims he mostly kills whoever he doesn't like. Says it's wild that the world seems to be coming back, but he supposes that means more monsters for him to shoot.
Badam Waksuva.
Wonders why you work so hard to keep things alive. Bullets help thin the herd instead.
Zif Badan Udinamama.
Says you should give up on working.
Zif
He's afraid you're just as stubborn as them.
Badan Udidimada Bulshada.
But enough of that, right?
Badan Udidimada Bulshada.
He says the wildlife, nature, has changed and turned against us. Instincts of survival took over when the world changed.
Mushtaq Bada. Badan Udidimada Bulshada. Inmo Zatuna Lema.
Moog says you...
Jira Vabasco.
Fortune...
Hose Eskuku Joanna. Lema.
There's no better place to start than a squip cave. Hunting down...
Hose Eskuku Joanna. Zien.
Let's see. Do you smell something burning? Wait, it's the squip hole-up. Place is just filled with critters. Stay away from that biohazard. You'll want to wash yourself off for a month. Fresh air. Oh, idea. Go knock the lid off that sludge truck. It'll fill the place up and you can get up to that entrance there. There are things out there waiting for you. A bullet needs a home. Finders keepers. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Blades screaming, beware. This won't last, so enjoy the ride. Imagine that. You could just go to a place like this to get a proper meal back in the old world. A hero has to stand on its own. Bangarang. Punch-a-punch. Close encounter. Grit. Smell that burning fuel.
Thanks to Richard Westfall, Bruce Wayne 236, Thunderbeard, Kianzo Fagari, Rickno 23, Diamond Hunter 45, Themistocles, Spacebeard Gaming, and Rush Singbati for being a master member on the channel. You can become a Survivor member for as low as 99 cents only by clicking the join button below. This will support me and the channel as a whole to continue making videos on the games that truly deserve it.